So you're somebody that wants to start a business, but you've been thinking, you're really not sure what is going to be that idea that's going to be successful. You are going to love today's video because I'm going to share with you a few stories of other companies that thought about things a little bit differently, solved their own problem, and then launched a $1 billion business. And then I'm going to share some insights on how you can unlock yours. The whole idea and premise of this video is to help you start thinking outside of your box, because all the businesses that I'm going to talk about, really, they didn't do anything special. They didn't do anything like crazy wild or reinvent the wheel. They just thought about things in a different way. And this allowed them to unlock a huge market and opportunity. The first company is Manscape. Now, I am not the biggest fan of these trimmers, all right? I am a fan of what they actually did, which was solve a problem. Now, the truth is that this little tool, the manscaping tool, is just a small little trimmer, right? You have been using beard trimmers and hair trimmers on your balls and your body for years, but they were like, you know what? There's nobody that is targeting and specifically designing a product for your balls or for manscaping, right? It was a term that people were using. It was starting to get a lot more like appropriate, right? A lot of dudes were talking about manscaping and trimming, but what they did differently was design a product specifically to target this region. And so what did they do? Of course, they did what I teach in the White Label Empire. They went to Alibaba or wherever, they sourced a cheap China little trimmer, right? They maybe made it or modified it a little bit, added some rubber, made it skin-safe technology, which is the biggest scam in the history of scams, because here's the deal. All skin-safe technology really is making sure that the blades aren't too high, close to the top blade, right? You also need to make sure that the blades aren't like super wide, or else your sensitive little ball skin can get in there and bang, you get trimmed or clipped, right? The truth is that I have cut the crap out of my balls. The truth is that there is no such thing as skin-safe technology, but they coined the word because as dudes, right, that's one of our biggest fears, right, is clipping or nipping our balls, because if you ever do it, it's not pleasant. And so they basically went to China, they came out with a product, and then they launched it. But the whole genius behind this, it wasn't just a small trimmer that you can use on your entire body. It was specifically for your balls and manscaping, right? And then over the years, of course, they blew up, they grew up, they became monstrous billion-dollar company, right? It's not that their product is anything special, but who they targeted and the messaging behind it was special, was unique. It was about and for a dude's junk. And they blew up, right? You could use this on your hair, you could edge up your trim, like whatever, like trim your eyebrows, but they targeted and specifically made a product and a business revolving around a dude's balls. The second company is Headblade, all right? You guys have all heard of Headblade, right? Basically, it's a little shaver for your head, right? It's for bald-headed dudes to be able to basically shave their head a little bit easier, right? Now, did they reinvent the wheel? No. Did they do something super special and unique? Kind of. And the reason is because they thought outside of the box. They knew that there was a huge, cohort of dudes that were shaving their head with a regular razor, right? To shave your head, what do you need? You just need a razor. It could be a Mach 1, it could be a Gillette, it could be, whatever. It doesn't matter. Dudes were shaving their heads. But they thought, wait a second. What if we went very, very, very specific? What if we designed a product that's a little bit different, not super different, that basically is specifically targeted and sold to dudes that are bald? We'll call it Headblade, right? Boom, they exploded. Another business very similar to Headblade does the electric version. It's called Freebird. Freebird right now is blowing up, all right? They do millions and millions and millions of dollars. What is it? Well, basically, it's an electric shaver for your face that is marketed for your head. Same sort of thing. And the interesting caveat to this is that when I was sourcing products for Pete and Pedro, right, I wanted to do a grooming tool. I thought about it, and so we reached out to our companies that we have a relationship with over in China. And we said, send me all of your products, right? They sent us a lot of electric razors, and one of the products that they sent me was the Freebird product that they're actually using before Freebird actually came out with the product, which is telling me that, okay, Freebird, all they did, they went to China, they got this, and they're like, let's target and make a business specifically for bald-headed dudes, right? Now, real quick, before I move on to the next one, I just want to mention, if you guys are interested in starting a business, you got to get and surround yourself with people that understand and that have done it. If you haven't joined the White Label Empire, I'm going to link to it down below. The community is ridiculous. We are helping businesses launch businesses. It is literally the best thing I've ever done in my life. And the reason I say that is because I am helping people just like you launch million-dollar businesses. We're starting from zero and we're scaling. There's a curriculum that you go through. It's going to walk you step by step through the process. And then once a week, we're on live coaching calls that are going to be typically like 2 hours. If you can't make that, no problem. They're recorded and you can watch it later. You also have the chat in the community. If you're dealing with something or you've got a question about anything, whether or not it's Amazon or marketing or setting up your LLC, like whatever, you ask it and then the community is going to help you solve that problem. I'm in there on a daily basis. My only goal is to help you realize your potential. You could do it via private label or white label. You could do it through drop shipping or even custom manufacturing like this product. All right, all the steps are essentially the same except like one, and we go over everything. Anyway, guys, if you're interested in doing something amazing, hit the link and join today. All right, this product right here, another example. This is the Backblade. It was started by a friend of mine. His name is Matt. And basically, Matt's whole deal was, you know what? It's got to be easier for a dude to shave his back. Instead of having to go and ask his mom or his grandpa or his weird Uncle Barry or his wife to shave it, what if there was a way to basically be able to do it yourself, right? And so the inspiration, you can imagine, is actually a back scratcher. All right, he went to this manufacturer, he basically did a prototype, and this was the original design. Actually, the original design was yellow, all right? This was version 2, it's blue. And all it is a little plastic scratcher. The other beautiful thing to this is that it's super light, so you can ship it super affordably. And then he basically made this extra long razor, all right? All it is basically 3 little razor blades with a protective guard, right? And it comes apart, right? He had this manufactured, he did some prototypes. This is a super cheap product, but he was charging, I think at the time it was like 20 or 30 bucks, right? And you could buy refillable like blades, right? And you used it dry. That was the other amazing thing. And so all you do if you've got back hair is start doing this. Now, the reason why this blew up is because of how many people are searching how to remove back hair. And he knew based on what else was out there, there were only like 2 or 3 different options out there, right? That you could basically do it yourself. And the truth is that the other 2 options were shitty. This, it was so simple, it was so genius, and he sold the business recently for a lot, and I mean a lot of money. The last business I just want to talk about, actually there are 2. Lumi. Have you heard of Lumi? Right, it's a women's deodorant for everywhere. Basically an all-over body deodorant. What's special about that? Not much, except it's marketed for women to use on their entire body, including their junk, right? Now, is it anything special? No. Is it anything cutting edge? No. It's marketed differently because the founder knew there was a problem, right? Women were super self-conscious about their stuff smelling not so fresh. And so she created a product, and that product has absolutely blown up, all right? Just thinking about things a little bit differently, solving problems, all right? The last one is dude wipes. Dude wipes are literally individual wrap wet wipes for dudes' butts, right? But the deal is they market it specifically for dudes. They call it dude wipe, right? Which was different than, Johnson & Johnson, like baby wipes or like whatever, right? They knew, wait a second, dudes need to be using this. Dudes are probably already using it. What if we created a product, named it and targeted it specifically for dudes? Boom, $billion business. Do you see what's happening, all right? These products were nothing cutting edge. There was nothing like revolutionary, magical, unicorn, nothing like that. They simply thought about things differently and had a different way to solve them, even if that way to solve them has already been around for years and years and years and years and years and years and years, right? The whole name of the game is to think outside of your box. We get so structured and so disciplined in thinking inside a lane. But when you look at things and problems differently, and look to see if there's anybody's actually solving that specific problem, that's where the sweet spot is, all right? Give you a few examples, all right? Dudes, right? Give you some more hair examples, right? Chest hair. A lot of dudes trim their chest hair. A lot of dudes also trim their leg hair. But what's out there, right? Their facial hair grooming tool, you put the attachment on. What if you did a similar thing that was designed specifically for the other hair on people's bodies, or chest specifically? What if you came up with a razor, right, that was a little bit different, right? Nothing funky, nothing fancy, but a little bit different, right? And you called it pec blade or something like that, or arm blade, or leg blade, or the leg trimmer, or, you know, whatever, or butt hair. What if you came up with the best butt hair trimmer out there? Now, does it have skin safe technology? Yeah, because you're just going to tell them not to put the blade super tall, but literally you could create a product for dudes to trim their butts, or women, right? Thinking outside of the box. All right, another one, here's another one, neck beards, all right? Not just razors. What if you created a product or something that was designed specifically to handle the neck beards of men, to reduce the amount of ingrown hairs? What are you going to do? A safety razor, right? Bevel, the company Bevel. They basically marketed and targeted a product, a safety razor, to African-American men or black dudes because they knew that that was a better solution than multi-cartridge blades, right? And so they're like, hey, there's this demographic. How are we going to help solve the problem? A safety razor, basically. All right, and they blew up. They sold to a big company. They thought about things differently. They didn't reinvent the wheel. They're still using a safety razor that your dad or your uncle or your weird Uncle Barry used, but they targeted and marketed a different way and a different customer. It's not about being super creative and a genius when it comes to product development. It's about thinking about things differently. If you can do this, if you can start to look at the world a little bit differently and look at it through the lens of an entrepreneur and how you can take something that already exists and modify it. Oh, another one? Beards make you sexy, but a dirty sink makes you unsexy. And this is the problem that men have faced ever since beards were invented. How do you look sexy and well-groomed without the mess? You can't, but the Stubble Buddy makes cleaning up quick and easy. So here's how it works. You groom, make a mess, grab your Stubble Buddy, clean it up. It's that simple. But it's not just for your face. The Stubble Buddy also helps you eliminate your manscaping mess. Gentlemen, grab a Stubble Buddy and get sexy. The Stubble Buddy, bitches! Gentlemen, the Stubble Buddy, do you think that was like a product that was designed to pick up stubble? No! It was designed to clean your computers, right? It was a little vacuum for computers, but I thought, you know what? You could also use it to pick up stubble from the sink when you trim your beard. Gentlemen, outside of the box, you see what happens, right? Here's another example, right? Nose hair trimmer, all right? Everybody's like, oh, it's a nose hair trimmer. Well, it could be a nose hair trimmer, or this could be the ultimate men's grooming experience, all right? It's not a nose hair trimmer, it's a man detailer, right? It's basically a tool that you use on all of your facial details, right? Your ears, sure, your nose, fine, but also edging up along your mustache, right? Or around your ear to push out haircuts, or you could even get it with like a different attachment, because they actually come with 3 different attachments, right? This little blade you could use to like detail or edge up things. It also has another blade, right? A little tiny one that you could use for make up something else, for eyebrows or whatever. Gentlemen, you see what's happening here. It's about thinking about things differently and outside of the box. And then you build a company around detailing and keeping a guy looking fresh using the ultimate men's facial grooming tool, which is this thing. Another one. I'm just throwing things out there to help you think, right? A fragrance. Everybody knows, okay, it's a fragrance, but you also know not to spray it on your balls. What if you created a fragrance that was an all-body fragrance, right? So, and I'm not talking about like Axe or those sprays. I'm talking about a premium sexy fragrance or cologne that you could also use to moisturize and condition and fight odor and bacteria on your balls and your butt. Gentlemen, it's a million, that one is $1 billion industry. Anyway, all of this, why am I saying this? Why am I getting so hyped up and excited? And the reason is pretty simple, because I want you to start looking at things differently. If you're somebody that wants to truly change your life, start a business, period. But one of the things that holds a lot of people back is thinking you don't have the right idea. It's not about not having the right idea. It's about not having the right market or item to basically retool and recalibrate and refocus and resell as something else, all right? Case in point. All right? Case in point. You see what I'm saying? You see what I'm doing? I'm trying to get you to think more creatively. And when you do this and you solve problems, even if it's using something else that already existed and just calling it something different or tweaking or modifying the design, you are on your way to blowing up the world.